Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Blank Podcast. After 30 minutes of technical difficulties, we're here. We're finally here to chat. Justin, it's a pleasure to have you back, man. I don't. The last time we talked was when you were. I think you were getting rid of your job because of the COVID situation, and then so that's been like 2.5 years now.
They got rid of me, but yeah, same thing.
Anything new change? You got shorter. It looks like it.
I shrunk. Yes, I am now 5'4", I think. Yeah, man. I just didn't want to get the poke, and that's all it was. They said I couldn't come back without it, so
We don't have to. We don't have to talk about that. We don't.
yeah, yeah,
You know how
yeah, yeah.
YouTube is.
Well,
Come on.
they booted me, so yeah, I gotta watch what I say. I'm sure, even
Well,
still at this point.
so how's it been, man, dude? It's seriously been a long time, and I'm really happy to see you.
Hey, man, the feeling's mutual. It's been a while. We didn't hang out last year in Ocean City, did we?
Well, you came to Ocean City, then I did not message me, so I felt left out of the group. Thanks.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. I don't even know what happened, man. I don't even know what happened.
Hanging out with family, dude.
Shoot, I'm just when I'm on vacation, or I'm just I don't know. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just partying and having fun, and
Makes sense.
I forgot.
I guess it's weird for me because I live in a beach town, so it's like everyone comes here to party. I'm like, where the hell do I go? Because honestly, every day I'm so used to it now. But you got a vape now, I see. Holy crap.
Yeah, man. I quit smoking like 2 years ago, so
That's right.
the the vape is kind of worse in a way because it's always there. You have to go outside for a cigarette. You gotta do something like it. But with a vape, you can just use the damn thing anywhere. So it's kind of worse in a way.
I went to the vape store to get like a vape juice, and they were had discounted nicotine-free vape juice. And I was like, oh, I mean, if it's discounted, I was like, nicotine's, without nicotine, maybe I can wean myself off, sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I went to go buy it, and they're like, it's $24. I was like, hang on a second, the 6 milligram Nick stuff that I usually gets $13, and this is discounted. And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to put in the 10%. And then they're like $20, and I was like, I had the anxiety of like not saying and trying to go back. Like, I don't want that. And so the person judges me. So then I bought it and then I'm going through that. And I'm just like, wow, I paid more for this. And my buddy's like, that's how they get you to get you to stop using it. Or no, the stuff to stop using it is going to be more expensive because they don't want to lose you as a customer. And I was like,
It makes sense.
damn, this life is just rigged from the start, ain't it?
It is just like all the healthy food costs so much money. It's insane. You can go get a double cheeseburger for $1.50 at McDonald's, but if you want something actually decent to eat, even their decent sandwiches are like an arm and a leg. Like if you got like a chicken breast, sandwich or something like that, or you get some healthy food from a grocery store, so much more money. And
Do you call the McDonald's burgers food though? That's not food.
it's not really. I hate McDonald's. I can't do McDonald's.
I don't think, I mean, the world technically runs, they say it runs on Dunkin'. No, it doesn't. It runs on McDonald's 100%.
No, it don't run on Dunkin'. No, we run on alcohol and nicotine. That's what we run on.
I'm not going to shame the alcohol because honestly, it's getting me through dude, gas price went up. I was like, I'll just pour some of this in my car, see how it runs.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd rather put gasoline in my tank than my precious alcohol. But
I mean, do I still call you Harmon Heat? Because you don't have the YouTube. I mean, you have the YouTube, but you don't haven't posted a video in a long time. I keep checking it, seeing if you got an update or something like that. Nah.
nah, man, been slacking. Been slacking. I just so busy with work and the family and all that stuff that it got hard to like really kind of die every weekend to make a video because we always tried to push it to our limit, which other people may handle it better, obviously, but it kind of ruined like me for the night and some of the next day when I did like these real hot challenges all the time, and it was like every weekend. So it became like it had to that was like life. Every Saturday night was burn so hard and throw up and kind of feel off the next day a little bit, because I wasn't used to it that much, even though I was pushing it pretty hard. Like my body didn't have time to kind of like adapt to it. It just became so much that I still cherish the people we met along the way, and I'm still friends with them. Same with you. Still talk to them, still see them once in a blue moon. I'm still in Cap Crew, which is a Facebook group where we burn in there. We create all kind of cool. They do more than I do, but they create all kind of cool games and sauces and powders and ways, unique ways to burn and make it fun. So I go live in a private Facebook group a lot, but I just don't do the YouTube much anymore, really at all anymore. So
You got me through the pandemic, I think, through a lot of like the boredom stuff because I would join your guys' live sessions that you guys would do, and you guys like Robbie, hop on the mic or something like that, and that was when I would like just answer questions and just I would just talk or something like that, but something go down a rabbit hole. But that's like it's weird to see how like 2 years a big of a change it is. You know what I mean? Like I mean, honestly, time's going by so quick right now. I honestly thought I had Alzheimer's. I was checking, looking through like all the medical list and everything because I was like, "There's no way." Like we're already in coming up towards we're in the third week of June, so technically we got another week left, and then it's the next month, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna blink and be 40."
yeah, actually, I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks.
Happy early birthday!
I thank you.
It's June
It's
20. No, it's July 6th, isn't it?
fit.
Damn,
You're close. Damn,
damn it! I was close as hell.
you're good. You're good. Yeah,
Eh,
we're going to Florida this year for vacation, but for our first time ever, we just wanted to try something different. You know what I mean? We're just driving down. We got a little spot on the water right by the ocean, and we're just gonna hang out down there this year. But we're gonna do a weekend trip to Ocean City at some point this year too. So maybe we can get back and play a little putt putt again or something. You know, maybe get some crabs.
Getting craps is that's always on the plan. That's always on the menu. Tell you that much.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, we last couple times we hung out. We went. Where do we go? We one time we played putt putt.
And then we
We ate
waited.
crabs.
We waited an hour and a half for some. I felt like an hour and a half for some sushi to pick up
Oh
a
yeah, we did
sushi
sushi.
order.
Yeah.
I see. That's the thing is like they want you to eat locally, but everything's so damn expensive. And if you're gonna get food, I'd honestly be all right with going to Tokyo Steakhouse to get sushi. And I know people go like, "That's not even a sushi joint." I'm like, "Yeah, but you get as much as you want to get not the actual like like the hibachi chefs. I'm talking about like the actual buffet where they just lay it out in front of you. Like you can get
That's
pizza
fine
on
with
one
me.
side.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And everyone's like, honestly, look, $1 for a McDonald's cheeseburger compared to what groceries just went up $1. So I don't even know what that's about. And everyone's like, oh, it's just government stuff. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like it was fine last week. It was fine yesterday. Why did it have to go up today?
Yeah, I don't get it. It's like, oh, we're short on product, so we got to raise the prices. Your normal $10 hunk of meat is now $14, and you're like, well, you got less, so you're charging me more. I don't understand it. And then at the end of the year, when you look at like the profits with these companies, I'm not a economist or something, so don't take anything I say as gospel. But when you hear all these people upcharging so high for everything, and then they have to show their hand at the end of the year when they do their taxes or whatever, you see that they all have record profits. And I'm like, well, obviously, it was designed for you to just make money off of it. You see that the country's all in shambles and you're charging so much more for everything. But really, you could have kept your prices about normal, kept all your employees working, and kind of helped the nation by not upcharging every single thing. You guys could have kept your prices reasonable, maybe up a little bit. We understand that things happen. You gotta adjust. It's cool. But when you charge that much more, and at the end of the year, you're like, you made twice as much money as you've ever made in 1 year.
I don't know what happened.
I don't get that. Like how it's I don't know. Hey, like I said, I don't know Wall Street and I don't know all this other stuff, but it just doesn't seem to
Wall,
add up. Like
Wall Street. It's not Wall Street. It's like Silicon Valley people that are all just making a bunch of. But that's the thing is like I mean that's cable companies like the biggest monopoly. We have guidelines that say don't have a monopoly. Yet there's plenty that we can all point to. That's like and all the gas stations. You're telling me that 349, and the one's 343. They all don't switch their pricing and start doing things back and forth. It always goes up though. It never goes down. They have like a established rule amongst them where it's like now. I mean, right now it's like 340, I think, where I'm at.
yeah, I think it's about the same here. I heard in Texas or Florida. Florida's pretty cheap on gas right now. I don't know if it's true. I heard it was like 275 or something. I'm like, damn, that's not too bad.
Are you nervous about going to Florida?
No, why?
Gators.
Oh
Crazy
man, I want
people.
to wrestle. I want to wrestle a gator so bad. What people?
Wait. Yeah, I said why? I said crazy people.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's crazy people. There's lots of crazy people.
What do you mean you want to wrestle a gator? Is that a life goal?
Yeah, I told the wife on the way down if there's a gator on the side of the road, like once we get into Florida, I'm gonna jump out and I'm wrestling it. I wanna, I'm gonna take it and put it on the grill. And then she looked it up, and it's like a $5,000 fine to like mess with the gators. And I was like, well, I guess I ain't wrestling the gator then, because that's not happening.
Why is it $5,000? I think they'd be giving you $5,000 for taking out a gator. You know how many of those animals those things eat?
They're protected. Well,
What?
which I understand. Yeah, yeah.
Like an
You
eagle?
can't. Yeah, you can't harm the gators. You got to have like a license and tags and check them in at like at stations when you kill them.
It took Chubbs's hand. I have to take him out.
Right. Poor Chubbs, man. It's all in the hips.
Oh, I was about to say that. I was about to say that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I love like the gator, the gator people show, the swamp people, whatever. And I'm like, man, I could wrestle one of them gators. So I was gonna try it. I was gonna wrestle a gator, not like a giant one, not no 14-footer, but maybe like a 8-footer.
Like a baby one
Yeah, like probably like a 3-footer. I could probably
that has like its mouth kind of wrapped shut. And like the lobsters in the aquariums and the food lines that they used to have where
you
their
gotta
hands are pinched.
yeah, you gotta do that yourself with electrical tape. They don't come out of the woods with their mouth wrapped.
I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust
Yeah,
it.
they hold down on their head and they can't open.
That's
So
what they
then
say until it
you wrap it with
opens.
electrical tape.
And it bites your arm and does that barrel roll thing and your whole bone comes out.
Yeah, that's see the caveman side of me says go wrestle that gator and then like kill it and cook it for the family. We'll eat gator in Florida, but then my 40-year-old side says I'll be on the news like stupid Baltimore man comes to Florida, wrestles a gator, gets his arm ripped off on vacation. So I'm like, maybe I should, you know.
Do you let that caveman side out a lot?
No, I'm getting older, so it's kind of it's fallen to the wayside. But I used to be kind of a caveman, I guess.
Do you find that since you live in Baltimore that you have like a different experience? Like I notice it with Maryland stuff. Like every time I go to a Royal Farms at like 2 o'clock in the morning, because my work is at 4 a.m. So like I have to go to Royal Farms, get a Powerade or something if I'm gonna work out. And I always come across somebody on drugs every single time, and I just can't help it now. Like I at this point I have no attention span for shit anymore. I just go and try and pay, and they go, "Hey man," I'm like, "No, I'm just not even gonna acknowledge it." "Hey man, I know you hear me, man." I'm like, "Nah, I don't hear you. I don't hear you at all." Because there's what do? You don't interact. I'm just curious if you have that at all in Baltimore. Obviously, you have some stuff that goes on, but do you come into like do you find that you have less of an attention span for shit?
Yeah, you almost like become immune to it or desensitized to it, I guess you could call it. And I like to help people. Like if I see someone in need, I like to help them. But like if you're on the side of the road and I'm driving by in the middle of nowhere and I see you broke down and someone trying to do something, my instinct is to pull over and say, hey, you got a jack, you got a wrench, do you need help or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you gotta be careful because you hear stories of people like asking for help and they're just setting you up just to get you.
That's how I felt the other day.
Yeah, what do you do nowadays?
I was at a Wawa in my car when I parked it. It died. And so when I went back out to it, I went to start it. It wasn't even turning over. I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? And this is like I said, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to work. And I'm like, this is not the time. So I'm about to start walking to work. And then I ran over to this like cop guy or security guy. And you could already tell as he was pulling the pump from the car, he looked and saw me running. He was like, no, God, no. And then I just went off. I was like, sir, I was like, my car just died. I don't know if you have a jump or anything. He said, I can't jump yet. We'll mess with the computer in the car. I'm like, all right, thank you. And then I walked away. And then I guess he saw that since I was walking away, I wasn't a crazy person. I was going to be like, well, could you give me a ride? And he just walked over. He's like, go get a Coke. And I was like, oh, I know what this trick is. And I honestly don't think it's going to work. And then he goes and pours it on like on the battery little part. And it didn't work. And so these guys helped me push my car to a parking spot. And the guy's like, you good? And like, you need a ride or anything to your work? And I'm like, I'll just walk it, dude. Thanks, man. And he goes, okay. And as he's going back inside, I kind of had a freak out in my car. I grabbed the steering wheel and started shaking it. And then like start punching my steering wheel. Because usually if I hit my car, it works. It's 30 years old. And it's how the heat came back on. Before I was smoking cigarettes on my way to work to warm myself up during winter because it was just, yeah, rough days, bro, rough days.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love the car. And so I finally turned it and it actually started. And then now I'm driving off and people are like, I just fucking, what the? And then I'm like, I feel like such a piece of shit. I'm so sorry. And I just drove. So, I mean, I don't know. Those experiences happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my wife's got the newer one because she always has the kids everywhere she goes. So my truck is 23 years old, and our other vehicle is 22 years old. So I know what you mean. You know, you run into problems, little hiccups, but it's all good. The Coke on the battery trick does help a little, but the problem is you really got to have a wrench to take off that terminal and pour it on there, and it eats it. If you just pour it straight over the terminal where that lead post is sticking off your battery and it's clamped to it, it doesn't really clean the inside. So if you're gonna take the terminal off the battery, you might as well just wipe it off with anything and put it back on. There's no point in even using the Coke thing, I guess. But
We did
I've had to do it before.
we did the whole gambit. I don't know who discovered the Coke trick. I would like to know who was the first person to try that out. Be like, hey, why don't you pour Coke on it? It's like, what the hell did that guy just say? And then it worked. He's like, you're a genius.
Yeah, I almost think it's like it cleans it a little, cleans the powder, like the battery acid that builds up on there, cleans it off a little bit, but probably just helps make a connection. You know, with the fluid in there in between all that gunk, probably helps make a connection. But
Honestly, it's just a bigger advertisement to let people say, don't ever drink Coke. Because if you're putting that in your body and it can help a battery out in a bad situation, I don't think that's going to be good for you. It's like the old stereotype where it's like, how much Mountain Dew do you drink? You probably have no sperm count. I was like, I'd like to see who started these rumors and lies.
I don't know. Mountain Dew's my favorite. I don't drink soda really, but Mountain Dew's good. The only time I drink Coke is if I pour some whiskey in it. So, and that's rare that I even do that. But like a little, let's say 6 ounces of Coke once every month or something with a little whiskey in it. That's not gonna hurt you. But if you're drinking that crap all day every day, yeah, that's bad. That's a problem.
Some people do 2 2 liters in a day.
I drink plain old water.
I'll just take nothing. That's fine. Not drinking water.
Water's terrible. As far as there's no flavor, there's no nothing, but you feel better. Just drink the
Okay,
water.
that's fair. You got
And
any
you're a
what?
health guru. You should be drinking water. What are you talking
I don't
about?
need water. I don't need water. Fitness is enough. Um, you got any interest that of recent, I would say, anything that you're super focused into? You mentioned you have a smoker. Did you smoke before when we hung out? Were you into smoking? I know we bought, yeah, okay, we bought because my buddy's getting interested in that too. And I'm noticing a lot more people getting interested in smoking meats now, where I'm like, is this the new trend? Like how Dungeons and Dragons got really big after Stranger Things?
Yeah, I think it is a big trend. It definitely skyrocketed in the last couple of years, and it might have started to kind of plateau a little bit. It was really getting crazy, and it was cool because people design new smokers, new methods, new products, new stuff. So it was cool. But I mean, I've had a smoker for years. My brother gave me my first one, and I'm still no pro at it. But the one I'm using today is like a cheater. They call it, like, a lot of people call it, like, you ever heard of Easy Bake Oven?
I'm just stuck on the part you said that you're not a pro at it, but you just mentioned earlier about smoking a gator. That seems like the end of the manual of like, you've made it to step 10. Now you can just smoke a bunch of exotic shit.
Yeah, it's not that hard. As long as you regulate your temperature at a good low steady temperature, you put some good seasoning on your meat, and you get your meat to like room temperature before you put it on the smoker. That's it. And then when you're done, wrap it up and let it sit till it cools down a little bit, and all the juice like reabsorbs back into the meat. If you cut it hot off the smoker, you cut right into it, all the juice pours out. So if you eat it right away, it's okay. But when it cools down, the meat will be dry. So you let it rest, and the fluid like goes back into the meat, so it stays juicy that way, or moist, if that doesn't bother you.
Oh, thanks for the tutorial, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's so simple. And like I said, you ever heard of Easy Bake Oven? My newest one is a lot of people joke called it like an Easy Bake, smoker, because you plug it in, and it's a little portable joint. It's cool. It's not like the big, Traegers and all that stuff. They're awesome too. But you plug it in, you turn the dial to like whatever temperature you want. I always go low, like 225. Season a big piece of meat, stick it on there, close the lid. It's got a meat probe. It tells you what temperature the inside of the meat is, and you just wait a few hours and you're good.
You need anything more than that? I feel like some people go a little bit too extreme where they're like, my smoker has its own TV and also has a mini fridge and also it can talk to you. I'm like, why do you need that? You just need it to do what the job is. You don't need any essential stuff. It's like when someone buys a house, like must have an in-ground pool. I'm like, that's going to limit so many of your options. That's just not even financially responsible.
If you got money, get the in-ground pool, get the smoker with the TV. If I was rich, I would probably have a smoker with a TV on it, so I could be watching the Orioles game, drinking a beer, and hanging out by the grill, I guess. But
But if you had money, you just go to the game. It's not that expensive.
yeah, yeah, but I'd rather be at home than any
That's
game.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I would like to go to like a Ravens game or another football game, but I know all my friends are doing that. I guess that's a part in like your mid-20s where everyone starts going to like football games. A lot of people going to hockey games. I would like to go to one eventually, but I just it's a whole trip and a half. You know what I mean? Like we drive 7 hours to go to a place to watch a game, and then you have to drive back to 7 hours. Like I could just turn on my TV.
Um, you could probably go 3 hours to get to a legit pro hockey rink. I'm sure
That's still a while.
it is a while, but for us, we used to have well, we had the Washington Capitals nearby, so I could always go to a Capitals game. It's only like an hour away or something.
That's not bad.
For you, it's a little longer. But we used to go when I grew up. We had skipjacks in Baltimore, so they were like I guess they were pro, but they weren't. I don't know if they were NHL. I don't know if they were. I don't think they were NHL. They were like a step under.
Amateur league.
Yeah, it was the skipjacks though, the Baltimore skipjacks, because the skipjack is a like a big sailboat, and Baltimore was known for back in the day for building and like reconstructing like sailboats. Like if you had problems with your sailboat, you brought it into port in Baltimore, and they could rebuild your ships and all
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah, so Baltimore like had a big like sailing industry, and they're still big with the port. We have a big Baltimore port and everything. Hell, my work is like a quarter mile away from the biggest port in Baltimore, so that's where I'm at now. But yeah, I used to go to those games, and my wife's uncle was actually on the team,
Holy
so
shit.
he passed away young. He got in an accident. A woman ran a red light and hit him, and he flew out of the car and passed away. But
Oh,
yeah, but he was like a semi-pro hockey player, and she got to go to a bunch of games. It's funny because even when I grew up, I was big into ice skating. I was trying to get on a hockey team when I was growing up, and so I used to go and watch hockey games and all kind of stuff. Man, hockey's awesome. We should go one day.
it's fun for the fights. I like to see him fight and stuff like that. But those I watched, like my buddy used to play ice hockey, so I'd go to like I think, oh God, I'm gonna blank on the name of it. It's about an hour and a half away from my house. There's a small little ice rink, skating rink, and in Delaware, and I would watch him play. But those hits those people do, holy shit, man! I would get shit myself immediately as soon as someone hit me.
Yeah, yeah, man. Those guys are like next level athletes. They're barbarians. Like the legit pro level. I mean, even some guys on their way up to obviously, but like the pro level guys, man, they go out there and they're skating hard as heck all around. It's like 100% effort the whole time. They're nailing each other. Their teeth are falling out. They're all beat up. And it's wild. There's some crazy dudes right there.
Sports, fun stuff. All right, so we got to. I asked what's an interesting thing you've been focused into as of the past time we talked. You do a lot.
Uh,
Come on, you got to tell me you got to have one interesting thing that you've been like really super hyper focused into.
I mean, really, just no, not really. I mean, a little bit of everything, man. We all got mountain bikes recently, so the kids and I, and we've been, we go to the state park, we go ride, and we do a little stuff like that. But
Is that 40 thing affecting you? Like, are you feeling like you need to do more healthier stuff?
not do healthier stuff, just do less of the things that aren't healthy. I guess,
Okay.
which is kind of the same thing. But I already eat healthy stuff. I already drink water all the time. I'm already a pretty physical person. I'm in fairly good shape for my age. But
Do you still do hot sauce?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay. I cut it
yeah.
out completely.
No, 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 no. You cut it out completely?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't need it anymore. I didn't want it anymore. You know what I mean? Like it was fun for a while of doing a lot of it, but then eventually it was just like, I don't know. It doesn't make food really enjoyable if you pour a lot on. You know what I mean? You can put like a little bit here and have a dash here and there, but honestly, I'm trying to go less sodium and all those condiments and things of that sort, which is difficult, but I still got a cereal addiction I got to kick because that thing's getting
Oh no,
ridiculous.
you're still hooked, huh?
God, dude, like I go through 4 boxes in 3 days.
I probably asked you before. Have you ever tried that s'mores cereal in the big bag? That
They don't.
stuff is. I do that.
Oh, you're talking about the multi-meals, the
Yeah,
multi-meal
yeah, yeah,
version.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think it is multi-meal brand or something. But my kids opened a bag last night, and it was the big bag. And we sat on the couch and we started eating it like dry because it's so good, even dry. And then next
Yeah,
thing you know, somebody got a bowl out, and we just like smashed almost the whole bag at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
good times right there. That's me at
Yeah,
one o'clock in the
I
morning
had a
because
couple beers.
at 1 o'clock in the morning I'm walking downstairs. I'm kind of hungry. I just end up grabbing a bag of cinnamon toast crunch and just tearing it up.
Yep. I can eat a whole box of cinnamon toast crunch in one sitting. So I gotta be careful.
See that?
That's what I said. Like, I don't have to eat healthier. I just have to slow down on the not so healthy stuff. Like if you want to eat a bowl of cereal, eat one bowl. I don't need to eat the whole box. Just gotta cut back a little bit.
Yeah, but it's hard not to not eat the whole box.
It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm thinking about how big those bags are, and we ate almost that whole bag.
It's meant to
So
feed
yeah,
a family of 5.
it fed me. So it's about-
I always an interest for me is I've been getting really interested into those fitness influencers because I saw this guy that like there's a bunch because I work at a gym, so obviously I'm friends with all the trainers and I'm basically know everybody in town. And because everybody goes to the gym like if it's once a month or something. And there's a bunch of people starting fitness accounts. Like as soon as you start working out, everyone joins fitness, like just changes their profile name to fit or something like that. And I'm like, oh God. And then all they do is put up fitness posts, which I don't mind. But someone put up on their story and it was like an influencer, and I clicked on this influencer's page and he had clipped Joey Diaz from Joe Rogan's podcast talking about that if you blend up a banana, it's more calories than if you just eat it regularly, which is
yeah, I did. I heard. I think I saw that clip. I
yeah.
don't
So
remember it exactly, but I was
he's
like,
a
how does that work?
he's a comedian. He's joking around. He's just doing it for a bit. And the fitness influencer like, this is the fake news on Joe Rogan's show, and starts going. I'm like, bro, he was just talking about sucking like I don't even want to say like he starts his day off like good morning you cocksuckers, have a beautiful day, make it suck your dick, like
Yeah,
that's his start. And it's like this guy's clipping it and giving fake, and all these people are commenting like, oh my God, thank you so much for calling out this misinformation. I'm just like, oh my God, I just can't do it.
I like Joey. His voice is fun. Ah, you cocksuckers! Like,
That's that
I
Jersey, that's
can't
that
do it, but
Jersey.
you get the point. You get the point. Yeah, he's a trip, man. I mean, I still like the Rogan podcast. I don't listen to it as much. At my new job, I can't have headphones in
What do you
anymore.
do?
Like, I'm a inventory specialist at my job, so I'll just leave out where
That's
it
fine,
is,
yeah.
but just for the hell of it. But yeah, just inventory stuff. Just working in a warehouse. I used to do commercial glass and home improvement, construction, all kind of stuff, plumbing, electric, roofing, you name it, tile work. I did it all. But I
What
got
was
a
the
little
worst
older, and
job?
what's that?
What was the worst job?
I liked them all. I never.
You never had a bad experience in a certain area or job you worked?
No, I did commercial glass work. I got to go to the coolest places, meet the coolest people, see the coolest stuff. I did home improvement work where I got to travel all around and once again work in amazing homes and some crappy homes, and I met some cool people. I've seen some wild stuff, so I can't complain about it. And all the stuff I learned along the way. I got no complaints, man. No,
What's the wild stuff?
the wild stuff. Well, when you're in construction for like decades, you see some crazy people, you come across some crazy situations, you name it, drugs, fights,
Give me some
Uh,
examples. I need a story.
well, a story. I mean,
You
geez,
said
how long?
wild shit. Now I'm entertained. Come on.
All right. I mean, I've been on jobs where people are just I don't know, zooted out of their mind. On some old school drugs. I can't even explain. I don't know, man. I've worked with guys who are like in and out of jail on a regular basis, just wild people, And so I've seen just about everything you could think of just being around these people. So
Do you think that cultivated your personality at all?
yeah, definitely because I grew up around it. I grew up around it. My father owned a small contracting company, so he did anything from like commercial work to residential work and anything in between. So I got to go do some crazy stuff even at a young age, and I grew up doing it. That's what we did. So you always have guys working for you that sometimes they're a mess, and some of these people you work with are characters. They're trouble, but
Do you think
some of
that
them are good.
do you think those experiences were important, like just in life, that everyone should have experiences like that? Because I always try and look at, like, for my life, for instance, like I didn't have a whole lot of rules, mostly because my parents worked all the time, so nobody was really around. So it was just easier, like, to, like, for me, I wonder what I would be like if I had a helicopter parent. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a kid needs to kind of experience like what's actually right and wrong. You touch a light bulb once and then you know not to do it again. But then, like, having no restrictions, I could skate at 1 o'clock in the morning, but my dad knew I'd be home. So it's just like a different thing where it makes you think, like, I don't know, because my generation, everyone's like a helicopter parent. And I'm like, guys, I fucking saw you do shots like a year ago at a bar, and all of them were on fire, every single shot.
Yeah, we grew up. I was born in the early '80s, so when I started growing up, you could just get on your bike and be like, "All right, mom, and dad, I'll see you later. I'm going for a ride with the friends," and they're like, "All right," and you come back 10 hours later, and you rode your bike from like Baltimore to Annapolis and back, and had some adventures in between, and as long as you came home, they didn't care. They didn't question. Hey, yeah, did you have fun? Yep, it was good. See you in the morning. And they didn't care as long as you.
Because they were tired of shit. That's why they did not have the energy to ask and hear you tell. Have you ever heard a kid tell a story?
Yeah, that's true. And
Jesus.
one time I was you're like,
God, they're going on for days. I'm like, hurry up, wrap it up. Jesus.
wrap it up, wrap it up. I know I got kids, so trust me. Sometimes I'm sitting there for like 15 minutes, like, wrap it up.
Because I'm an uncle, so my brother's kids, the oldest one, when he tries to tell a story, he's like, and then Uncle Robbie, and it's like 10 minutes of that. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we talking about? And I'm really nice about it. I'm like, that's fantastic. And then I'll like pat him on the head and walk off. He's like, I didn't even tell you it yet. And I'm like, we haven't
Oh,
started.
I'll be
Oh
back.
God.
Yeah. Like I said, I got kids, so I got a few. I know how it is. But you grin and bear it. You just go, uh huh. Oh wow. Oh, that's really cool. Good
And in your
job.
head, you're doing math or some shit.
Yeah, you're not paying attention. But yeah, back in the day, we got to do basically whatever we wanted, man. We used to go walking around the harbor, Baltimore Harbor. We were like 10 years old, just get on the light rail train and go down the harbor, ride our bike down the harbor, lock your bike up, and just walk around in the city. Like 10 years old, me and like two friends, and we would just go do whatever we wanted. But they never had to worry about us not coming home or getting hurt or nothing because as long as you weren't messing with anyone, pretty much back then nobody messed with you. So it's a little
Do you think
different nowadays,
do you think
unfortunately.
it's better now, or do you think it's worse?
It's about the same, but there are some crazy people out there. So I don't want my kids at 10 years old to do quite everything we did. I still let them have, a lot of freedom because I got to see the positive side of having freedom. So, but we keep an eye on 'em. I don't helicopter. My wife pays a little closer attention, I guess you could say, because she's always, she always knows where they're at, what they're doing. Sometimes she'll ask me, "Oh, where's so and so?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They were in here like an hour or two ago. Or let me look outside. Let me see where they're at." But they're having fun. They're with the neighbors' kids, riding up and down the road on their bike or whatever. It's like okay, they're good.
I mean, besides just being a kid, though, do you think the times are better?
I don't think they're a whole lot different. I don't.
I
There's
think you got a lot more information, but you can't trust shit anymore. I hate to say, I don't think you probably could have trusted back then, but like I saw so many movie reviews for like Flash, and I went to go see that the other day. There was a couple points where I was like, what the hell's going on? But then there's like, it's not a bad movie. It's actually really, really good. I would recommend going seeing it, but maybe don't take my movie advice so I'm not a hypocrite. But there's a bunch of stuff. Every time I don't know if it's clickbait anymore. I'm just watching so many things just really start changing every single thing where someone's like, this movie was terrible. And then you're like, I have to go review it myself. And then you go and see it. You're like, damn it, I spent money on that ticket.
Yeah, I don't take anyone's word for it with movies. I have a weird sense of like I don't know what to call it, but like my what I would call entertainment, it must be different than a lot of people because I can watch movies that people seem to hate, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it might be a little cheesy or this or that, but I'm like, it was entertaining. It was good. I like to watch a movie and just kind of forget about the world for an hour and a half, and I don't mind. Like a lot of people hate on a movie, but I think they're great.
Plus, you get to sit in the recliners in the theater and just relax.
Yeah, well, usually I'm at home doing it, because we got we got the surround sound, and we'll put that on. Like
Oh,
I just
Mr.
watched.
Fancy.
It's nothing crazy. It's just a decent little surround sound I got. Actually, got it from my old boss. He brought it to work, and he got a new one, and he always bought like the newest, latest, greatest, all kind of stuff. And he'd come to work, and one time he came in with a nice surround sound, a big Yamaha stereo, and he was like, "Hey, do you want this? 150 bucks?" And I'm like, "Shit, like that's a good deal." And I was like, I'll give you like $10 a week. How about that? And he's like, I don't care. And he's like, so he literally took like $10 a week off my paycheck. And I went home that day with that big stereo. So I've been using that.
Damn.
I have a weird way of getting good stuff without paying like big money for it, you know?
I think it's because you're a charming person.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask him for it. He came in and he was trying to, sell it. And I was like, I'll take it, but I can't, at the time I was like, I can't give you $150 right here. I was like, how about some, payments? And he was like, yeah, $10, $15, whatever here or there. He's like, yeah, that's fine.
Hey man,
He didn't care.
do me a favor. All right, what's the favor? I need you to go kill my ex-wife. Excuse me? You want the stereo, right? Kill my ex-wife.
All right. Do I have to make it look like an accident or what?
OJ'er.
OJ.
Yo, so you want to hear something crazy? I don't even think he's listening to this, so hopefully we'll be good on this. So I've been trying to get OJ on my show for an extremely long time, since like the beginning. I've reached out to that man 3 times every single year, and I have not gotten a response back from him. I'm in my 5th year right now of this show. Okay, so that's commitment right there. That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 15 times I've reached out to him. Okay. We got another one coming up here in a couple of months. I always try and do it every like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, you don't want to bug him too much in one shot and have him block you, right?
I know that's the scary part. Being blocked by OJ, that means he knows you. It's like, oh
And
shit.
then he's gonna come looking for you.
Look, I don't know anything about the court stuff, so I'm trying to stay out of it until I talk to him. And so I told a friend of mine who's a trainer at the gym, and he was like, "Yeah, did you ever talk to the guy that was supposed to be the person that was killed that night?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "There's a 30 for 30 on the whole situation." And he tells me the guy's name. I followed him on Instagram. So the guy had a private account. That means he had to accept my follow request. So I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. And I just hit follow. And I said pending, and I was like, well, he's probably not going to accept it because he doesn't know me. Next thing I know, it says accepted. I go, holy shit, we were just like, it is only 10 minutes had passed. And I had showed him the phone, and he goes, oh my God, dude, you got to get him on your show. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna send him a message. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, my name's Robbie. I've never looked into the OJ stuff before, but then I saw you on the 30 for 30, and I would like to talk to you on my show. And he's like, it said seen. And then he went and I guess must have looked at my show and he sent me a message. He's like, I looked over your show. It's pretty cool. I don't want to talk about it now, but maybe somewhere down the road. And I was like, oh, so I'm still following
Ooh.
him. But he was the
Yeah, yeah.
apparently his name's Keith. I'm not saying his last name. I'm sure anybody can look it up. Um, he was the guy that was supposed to apparently she had left her purse or something. She left something there. And he was like, OJ's watching the house. I can't go over there. So I need you, and gave it to his coworker to go drop it off. And then apparently that guy was the one who got killed. And
Goldman or something.
I guess, but I haven't looked into the court thing because I am specifically only want to talk about Naked Gun with OJ. And then afterwards I can go into the court stuff.
Yeah, Naked Gun with OJ. He was
Yeah,
great in that
we're
movie.
missing a whole timeline of information because nobody's ever asked him about the Naked Gun shit. So it's like I would love to know about Naked Gun, and people can get mad all they want, like, how dare you give this guy a platform? I was like, look, if I got him on my show, I would just ask him questions about Naked Gun, and at the ending of it, when I edit it, I would just put really quietly in the, did you do it? And then him just ignoring it the whole time, but I would have it scattered throughout. So it'd just be like,
Oh
that'd be
no,
hilarious. I would take a dive for that.
no. Yeah, you know what? I guess I shouldn't have any sympathy for him because obviously, I think it's pretty safe to say that he definitely did it. But I don't know. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't there. I can't say anyone did anything. I wasn't there to see it. But I think the odds are that he did it. You know.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm glad it's not my decision
If
to
this
put
is the
someone in jail
episode that
for
he
life.
watches that says no to my show, I'll be really pissed off. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, if he winds up watching this one conversation and he's like, you know what, screw these guys.
Out of the 1,500 I have, I said he's like, oh, I clicked on it because he's an Orioles fan, and I'm like, God damn it, Justin.
Look, we'll be in Ocean City next year, and he's gonna show up. Me and you hanging out. Hey, fellas, how's it going? Like,
Dude,
oh, yeah.
can you imagine getting a beer with OJ at a bar?
Yeah, dude, people still love him. Have you seen him like his Instagram stuff? He's
Yeah.
like hanging out with all these pretty girls, and they're partying with him. I'm like,
Did you read the
ugh.
comments? You read the comments on that one?
Yeah, that's a little risky hanging out with that guy. I
If you
don't know.
read
I
the
mean,
comments on the video, it's like, OJ, happy to see you again. Then it's like knife, murder, 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 killer. And then it's like, how's Denise doing? And it's like just random, like one-off comments that are like asking about his day.
yeah, he's a strange character. But going back to the movie thing, man, he was great in Naked Gun. What 33 and a third, I believe it was.
33 in the third. He was in
Yeah, I think
all
that was the one.
he was in all three.
Was he in all three of them?
Huh?
Wow. No, his name was Nordberg or something in the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 the Detective Norberg.
Dude, I just watched 33 and a third a few weeks ago. It just came on TV and I was watching it. Man, that movie is so funny.
Leslie Nielsen is a rest in peace, but he is like a star character. In his interviews that he used to do on television, he would bring a fart thing. So he would just hit the little fart thing. You can watch the clips of him. Like, oh, excuse me, and he just do the fart noises. I'm like, that's what you want. He was older. He didn't care. He didn't care about the interview stuff. But it's not being disrespectful to the interviewer. It's just having fun in the interview. Like every time I see something now, it seems like everybody's ready for like a hard hitting question or something, and it's all about gotchas. Remember back in the day, they had the Cooter Shot magazines. Now everything's gotcha interviews. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. It makes doing this conversation shit fucking difficult.
Yeah, I don't really care for a whole lot of that extreme stuff. You know, maybe a little bit more when I was younger, but I like shows with just conversation because sometimes like I used to at work be able to put one earbud in, even though I was operating some equipment. They never said anything, so I could listen to your podcast, Rogan, all those,
The
all
crab
kind of stuff
feast.
all day long. I mean, day after day, and it was just to get to hear of like a unique, someone's unique take on something or their view on something or learn about something new. And I like the scientist stuff. I love podcasts where you got like a regular guy, like one of us, regular guy, but you're talking to like an extreme level, scientist or doctor. I know it's a weird term, I guess. Extreme level doctor. It's kind of weird, but you know what I mean. Like next level, top notch. When you hear the information they can tell you, you're like, man, there's some incredible stuff out there that I know nothing about. So you don't get that stuff in the 15-second TikTok, clips. They might show you cool facts, but they don't sink in because it's just one clip after the other, and they're all really cool, but nothing really sticks with you. But when you listen to a long format show or an hour or more, you usually, you're talking to me, you're not going to hear a whole lot of mind blowing facts. But when you listen to like some of your guests, these doctors and these really cool people, it's pretty wild. I learned some stuff by the end.
Well, I like this because I need a break between all the learning and all that. And this is just different. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll be like tune.
You need a break from learning, so you talk to me.
Well, this is just like I can actually have a conversation and be able to sit and, BS. It wasn't an insult. It was more of a compliment. It's
I
like
know.
I need those breakups of that because like I mean, I learned a lot about history. I'm very interested in that. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that tuned out just because they want to hear this and this and this. I'm getting interested in like the Manson stuff. I think I've evolved as a person, but then I also like to sit and like joke around. Like this just feels like a phone call between friends, like, and we're just like, that's the whole point of the show though, is just I'm letting everyone in on the conversation that I'm having. It doesn't need to be a specific targeted thing, but not a lot of people want that. We're like in, I guess, the information age, but a lot of people just want specific things that fit their thing and biased, and that's like, to me, it's just nuts because the world's not like that.
I think a majority of people don't want it, but the number of people that actually do might be a small percentage, but it's still a massive number. What if 1% of the world likes the long form conversation podcast? Still a massive number. 1% is huge.
I'm big amongst truck drivers, I know that much.
Okay, I can
when
see that.
when they're driving, they like listening to it.
Yeah, if I was on the road for hours a day, I'd do the same. When I was at work and I could listen to headphones, I listen to you all the time. But unfortunately, I can't now, and they kind of cracked down in the beginning when I got in this job. They kind of let you do it a little bit, and
Have
then
you
now
listened to
they're
any of my JFK stuff?
a little bit, yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude,
There was one guy recently, I forget, and he got into a whole bunch of cool stuff, and you already kind of knew everything he was going, like, kind of talking about. You already knew the names, you already knew the situations and all that stuff. But yeah, that was a good one because I didn't know. So when you hear, him describing stuff, and then you already knew it all too, it was cool. But it was all kind of new to me. I've seen plenty of JFK stuff, and so I have a good idea what's going on, and
you better watch my film when it comes out.
I will.
I'm trying to get it on Netflix. I was at work and this guy comes up to me and goes, "You Robbie?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You making a film?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so. I have a podcast. Is that what you're asking about?" And he's like, "No, you're making a film." And I was like, "I'm making a film.
And you were like,
I didn't really tell anybody but one person." And I think this is what happened. The person I told happens to work at an urgent care clinic. And I guess he must have gone in there because she had mentioned seeing him and must have mentioned something. He goes, "Well, I work for Wonder Film." And I was like, "What's Wonder Film?" He's like, and I looked it up. So they made the movie Primal with Nick Cage on Netflix. They made a bunch of like, they work with Mark Wahlberg all the time. They work with Morgan Freeman all the time. He's like, "The only reason I work there is my buddy owns the company." So I got a job there. And he was like, "If you send me your sales pitch of your film, I'll send it to my buddy. And then when it comes out, they'll be able to help you publish it on a platform or something like that." I'm like, "Damn, all right. I don't know when that's going to be because I've been slacking on it. Honestly, I'm slacking on the podcast. I'm slacking on everything. I'm in the music now.
okay.
It's just fun for
Well,
me.
going back to the film thing, like, I wonder if you could even talk to him, like, well, look, here's my ideas. I don't have what do you call it? Like a pilot to show you or anything like this. But if you could help point me in the right direction and get me a little help, get me going, I think this could be really good.
Well,
Maybe he'd be.
he's seen the podcast. He's seen who I've had on, so he's not putting a whole bunch of like, I wouldn't say he's not putting no effort or no faith in me. He understands like I do get some, like I've talked to federal judges who are part of the Assassination Records Review Board. So everything that I'm showing in the JFK thing is not fantasy. It's all legit documentation, over 64,000 things of documents I've been through. I actually said what Tucker Carlson said before he even said it. And I'm sure people have been saying it longer than I have, but it was the documents I actually had lined up about the MK Ultra stuff with Jack Ruby that I came across. And it's crazy now because I'm digging through all like the garage stuff. And it's all my grandmom's stuff in there. So she almost married a JFK Secret Service agent. So we're coming across all these photos of her like almost first husband with JFK and like all this stuff. And she has so much books on the RFK assassination. I was like, damn, so she was more interested in the RFK one than she was with JFK.
Yeah, that's a fascinating situation. I don't think we'll ever be told the truth because if it comes down to the government doing something, you're probably not going to really hear about it, unfortunately. But I mean, you talk about all that stuff, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's crazy. Like Ruby was in jail, and who was the guy that came to meet him? The psychiatrist who dosed him up. And
Joyon West.
what's his name?
Joyon West. So
Oh,
J-O
Jolly West.
Jolly West. Yeah, he was the same therapist for our psychiatrist for Charles Manson too.
Right, and he just mysteriously shows up when Ruby's in jail and doses him and makes him lose his mind. It's like, what the hell?
That's to me, which is really fascinating. Like, if you like, so you like the academic stuff. Do you like the more sciencey stuff, or do you like the history stuff? Okay,
No, science, history. I love all that stuff. And I mean, it may not be
I'll
doesn't
try
sound.
and get more on so I can get you back as a listener. How about that? Shit.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love math, science, history, all that stuff. It's great.
What
But
about history?
what about it? All of it.
Okay,
Genghis Khan, Roman,
that's far
Greek,
back. Fuck, I was thinking like
all of it.
30 years ago or something. I don't know.
Any of it. The really cool, government conspiracy stuff. I love conspiracy theories. Like
Careful with
I
that
don't
word.
subscribe to them all. I'm not saying they're all real, but they're fun. They're fun.
Careful with that word. JFK is not a conspiracy.
No, but technically it is if you have what two or more people in on a plan, it's a conspiracy, right?
Yep.
That's really what it means.
The interesting thing to me, and it's not even conspiratorial, like I said, everything I'm showing is documentation. I had a person on here talk about covert action, and he studies the Kennedy assassination. And I was like, you're an academic in the UK who studies intelligence operations and covert action. And he was like, so we're talking about it. I go, do you believe conspiracy in the Kennedy assassination? And he was like, I don't think there's a question of if there was a conspiracy because there's so much evidence of a cover up. And I was like, there, I want to use that in my film. And like, I mean, he's a academic guy, has a field of study and everything, has degrees, everything. And that's a lot of the Kennedy researchers too, but it just has more weight when an academic who studies the BS. And we got into like Northwoods and all those operations that were going on. And I think people know about Northwoods, but they don't actually know what Northwoods was. Like Northwoods was a plan to blow up a airliner and call and blame it on the Cubans and say that's that so that gives us incentive to go over there. But if you actually read the document, they were like, if you can find a sports team that's flying on an athletic trip and you can down the aircraft and then blame it on the Cubans. I'm like, I know they're just writing it down and just talking about it, but that's fucking nuts to me.
Yeah, you don't do that, regardless of the reason. If you need to go invade somewhere, do something for the right reasons, just be honest and open. Almost let the public know really what's going on. But when you hide it and you want to talk about coming up with plans to sink cruise liners and blaming it on Cubans and airplanes and blaming it on Cubans, you're like, man, that's a dark road. We don't need to go down there.
I
We
think
don't
it
need.
makes you believe it more in a deep state than anything. I think a lot more people are probably in belief that there's something else going on, whether it's a business with like capitalistic system entangled into things. Everybody's out there to make money. But we have like even academics study it, which is business influenced research. Like how many academics are not held up to academic integrity for their research because they're funded by a certain organization. Tobacco was the big responsible leader in that one in the beginning. They funded all the tobacco studies to say that tobacco didn't have any damaging health effects. And they lied. And I think it was only for 50,000. No. So the sugar industry also did it. The sugar industry lied and said it wasn't sugar that makes you fat. It's fat. Fat makes you fat. So there was this whole anti-fat trend. And that was only over $50,000. So it was like, you just messed up. And that's why everyone's perceptions of everything are off. The news, the what's right and wrong, the food industry. I mean, I'm not the person to tell you what's right or wrong at all, but the health
No, I mean,
industry is ridiculous.
yeah, I think one of the biggest health problems in our country is the sugar. If we cut back on sugar, I think we'd all be a lot healthier because it causes a majority of the issues we have. You can get all the sugar you need naturally through fruits and vegetables and other foods like that have carbohydrates and all that other stuff. You don't need uh, all these candies dipped in sparkly sour coatings and all this other crap that people eat. Like I know they taste good, I know they do, but
Delicious.
it, They are, but that's the problem. Anything that's that good, what is it? It's bad for you. Anything that's that good is bad for you. Eat it once in a blue moon. Just don't eat it every day. Don't
When
eat.
does a blue moon happen?
I don't know. You Google it. I don't know.
You're gonna have a guy get on a diabetic coma because he's like, blue moon's out, and then he just fucking runs to the pantry and starts ripping open bags of Sour Patch Kids.
I don't know. I've never seen a blue moon, so maybe that's the point. Maybe you never get to eat it. I don't know. But I mean, we all know that sugar is terrible and eating all that candy is terrible, and you should eat natural foods and stuff like that. We all know you shouldn't eat processed foods. It's
But
common sense.
sugar-free stuff isn't good either.
No, not sugar free. I don't eat sugar free either. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, and everyone's health is their own situation. So I'm not telling anybody what to do. But eating all nothing but processed food and eating nothing but sweet, sugary stuff all the time, it's just not good. It's all it's simple. It's just not good for you.
The issue is not about giving medical advice or telling people what to eat. That the issue is if you go and try and search up what to eat, you are inundated with so much that there is literally confusion that starts to happen. And I get the question every time I'm at the gym or something. They're like, I just bought a gym membership. You got any recommendations on what to eat or what to lift or what to this? Is like, I'm not ever going to give anybody advice on what to eat and what to do that. I do 6 hours of cardio. That's not healthy. That hurts.
Yeah,
But
probably not healthy.
yeah, I was like, I'm probably gonna have bad joints when I'm 30. And I'm just like telling people, I was like, you gotta like kind of figure it out. But then I hear it like I'm at the gym, where summertime's approaching, it's all these kids coming in and they're like, yeah, bro. And it's the beginner gains. So they start getting muscle really like in the beginning, and it slowly starts to wean off after 6 months. But they start going, yeah, bro, just take this and take this and take this. And now I'm seeing kids use steroids. And I'm like, holy shit. Because it's so normal now. Like you can get like legal steroids now, and it's not controversial like it was back in the day. Like everyone can just be like, yeah, I'm on T booster, I'm on this, or I'm on that.
Yeah,
Jason
and it's good
Latona's
guys.
on like 50 things of T booster,
Is he?
but he's an arm wrestler, so got to
Yeah,
get his
yeah,
hands
he's
bigger.
yeah. I mean, it's tough, man. The kids are definitely influenced by social media. They see nothing but these people that are in spectacular looking shape, and they're doing all kind of crazy stuff in the gym, and they want to be like them, and they want to have a Instagram, page like them, and it's fine if that's what you want to do it. But and it's your choice if you want to take all the steroids and all the tests and all the stuff to help get you there. You do your thing. It just excuse me, burping. It never ends well. That's all. You see how it ends every time. It never goes well down the road when you're older. It's not a good situation. So you gotta be careful with anything unnatural. But
If you had one athlete you could talk to, who would it be?
one athlete,
Mine would probably be Arnold.
Arnold, he'd be pretty good. Yeah, he'd be
He's got
pretty
everything I
cool.
need to talk about. I want to talk about him marrying into the Kennedys, because I need to know if he got the info.
He's got
And
some
also
info, I guarantee it.
yeah, from the maid. But I also like how he's open about that. He's like, yep, this is my kid. So it happened. Not gonna act like it didn't. And I was like, yeah, you could really be like other actors or whoever, celebrities, and just ignore it and be like, it's false information for the rest of your life. And that would really suck. But you embrace it. That's good. But also his weightlifting experience. I got to know what the psychological manipulation of watching your body go from this ultimate size all the way down to what it is now, an aged body. And how everyone always goes, remember when you were like this? I was like, oh, that's the worst thing to ask him. Like, you'd have to ask that personally, but not on live television. I watched an interview with him, and they literally showed all his old bodybuilding stuff. And they go, what happened? And I was like, did you just ask him that? Oh, that's such a shit question.
He's 70 years old. That's what happened.
I know he's been through so much.
You can't be Mr. Olympia for 50 years running. Come on, it's not
Look at
possible.
Ronnie Coleman. You know who
Yeah,
Ronnie
look at
Coleman
all of
is?
them. Yeah, I know who big Ronnie Coleman was. That guy was huge, man.
That dude has crutches on his arms because he has to walk like this. Because all of his bones have atrophied. Everything's all atrophied. I mean, he's got like his back fused like 8 times. And I mean, he's what, 50 something? Like he put his body through fucking hell. But like that's the
But he
thing.
said
It's
he
like,
wouldn't. He said he wouldn't change a bit of it though.
I know,
He
yeah.
said he would change a bit of it.
Well, he started a legit brand where you could just say, "Yeah, buddy, lightweight, lightweight." Like that's all that. Like to me, I would like want to talk to him too, because I have to ask if he's on steroids.
Not now, he's not.
I mean, now to probably move, yeah, but
I mean, back then he had to be. Had to be.
yeah, nobody
I
gets
don't think
that
it's
big.
possible to be that level that long without doing something. You got, now. Have you heard about all the peptides and all now?
So what?
Peptides. They're like you can get peptides from Amazon and they help you like lose weight or this or that. There's like a ton of different peptides. Well, what they're doing now is they're taking these like peptides and they're designing them in a way that they cause the same reaction as taking a steroid, but without taking the steroid. So like to beat tests and stuff like that, so you can get around like certain kind of testing and stuff. But like they have peptides you can do where I guess you mix it the powder with water, you drink it, whatever you're doing, and it causes like a reaction in your body and a chemical release and all kind of stuff that is like hormones and steroids and all without actually taking the steroid. They're
That
coming up with
doesn't
all kind of crazy stuff.
that doesn't sound legal.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of like legal now because you know how they come out with designer drugs every so often.
No, they make designer purses. They don't make designer drugs.
Yeah, designer drugs are a thing, dude.
She's
What they do,
wearing the new Adderall by Louis Vuitton. It's like, what the fuck?
what they do is
Wired to the gills.
they create drugs that aren't legal yet because they've never been invented. So they come up with a crazy new drug and they start selling it, and then it takes a couple years before government can test it, try to regulate it, and ban it, and all that stuff. So in that time, they're selling these crazy drugs, and they make a ton of money, and they're not illegal yet. So then what happens is, as soon as they make them illegal, they already have the next one up and ready to sell and to start shipping it out. So it kind of never ends. They're always putting out new drugs and new compounds and stuff.
Oh my God, it is real.
Yeah, it's wild. It never
That's
ends.
fucking
It's
nuts. How is nobody on that?
there are people on this stuff, dude. There's a whole underground thing for it. Like, and a lot of it comes from China, and I'm not hating on China. It's got nothing to do with nothing making fun of them or not. They have laboratories where these people are good. They are skilled at creating new compounds and new like new molecule type, like down to the lowest level, like creating new things. So when they pump it out and they ship over tons and tons and tons of it, nobody knows what it is or how much to do or what it is. So people are dying left and right, but people are enjoying it, whatever the drugs may be. And it takes a couple years before the government can finally like crack down and block it, ban it. And then as soon as they do,
What do you think about pot being legal?
about we well, starting in July 1st, it'll be legal here in Maryland. So
I don't know how I feel about it.
I think it's good and bad. I think it's good because it should be legal. I think you should still watch your kids and don't let them start messing with stuff too young because I don't know about a gateway drug per se, but I don't think you should have your kids running around getting wasted all the time on anything. You know?
Yeah. I think I'd agree with you on that. There's just I've done I've done both the conversations about it of good and bad parts about pot, but this isn't pot though. This is like really high synthetic shit. And
Yeah,
that's like
yeah, yeah.
back when kids used to smoke, it took like 20 joints to get high. And now it's like, I mean, when I smoked, it took like 2 bowls, I think, off
Now
some
you
like,
take one puff.
yeah. And now you take a puff and you're high for like 4 days, where I'm like, I wonder if these kids are going to have like that really high PTSD trauma shit.
It does happen. Some people, it messes with their head. Some people almost have
Me,
like yeah, you can have like a mental breakdown like if you
I
get
did.
too high. It does
I've
happen.
had, yeah, it's common with like really neurological disorders, like ADHD is one. But you have this adverse effect, and that's how I've always had with pot, which is like I've never had a good experience with it. But to me, it's just crazy because I'm like, damn, dude, that's really got to. If you're a parent, you got to really be watching what your kids have. I mean, Anabar, the thing that Joe Rogan mentions all the time, is legal. They sell it at a head shop down here, and my buddy, the trainer I was mentioning, he was like, he was like, yeah, I just got Anabar. He's like, dude, it's like Adderall. It makes you super focused. I was like, and it's legal? And like, yeah. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why? Why do you need that?
You don't, but the funny thing is, give that a couple years and that'll be illegal too. That it's a new strand, it's a new thing. So it's, even though it may be like Adderall, they might have banned, Adderall for just like recreational, like people selling it at a store. You got to get it through a doctor kind of thing. They'll wind up doing the same thing with the other stuff. It just takes time. It's a new chemical or a new compound or something new that isn't technically any other drug, so there's no law against it yet. But I'm sure all it takes is a kid to get hurt or overdose on it, and then they'll block it, they'll ban it. But
Does making it illegal actually get rid of it though?
no, no, it just stops the stores from selling it.
But doesn't it make it harder for people to get, but that also makes them go to scarier situations?
Hmm.
So what's the right choice? Better education?
Yeah, better education is number one. That covers all aspects of life, doesn't it?
Yeah, but at a parent, you'd be like, don't do alcohol and then don't do drugs. And then it's like, now you got to be like, let me list off every single fucking thing that's a drug. And it's like, you'll be sitting there for decades with your kid trying to rattle them through the old bee's knees routine.
Yeah, I tell my kids, like, just don't ever let your friends like talk you into doing something. Like
Don't ever
if you're
hang out with anybody who follows the Grateful Dead. You'll be fucked for life.
don't hang out with anybody who listens to Out of the Blank. They got to be
Damn. All right. Fair. That's fair.
kidding. But yeah, I mean, I tell them like you hear stories like 10-year-olds at a party, and one of them's like inhaling something and getting a buzz. They never tried it before they heard about it, and then one kid does it and he died. They took a couple breaths of like some kind of spray, and it was something like a spray deodorant or something. I forget what it was, but it was like, yeah, they like sprayed it into something, they breathed it, and they were like, whoa, like you get really high for a minute off of that. And the other kid tried it, dead, like
I'm
10,
hoping
11
this
years
does
old.
not get me banned off YouTube for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be careful. Like, with kids, I tell them, like, I don't care if your friends are doing whatever. You should try to stop them if they're doing something crazy, but don't join in. Don't inhale anything. Don't take anything. Don't listen to what anybody says. You know what's right and wrong.
I was
Don't
at
mess
a
with it.
I was at a bar DDing for a bunch of people, friends of mine, and one of them I brought another friend, and he pulls out like this vape and hits his vape. I was like, I didn't left my vape in the car. Do you mind? I didn't know we could do this in a bar, but could I hit the vape? They're like, yeah, because we wanted to get hit in, and I hit it. And I go and gave it back to him. I was like, what was that? And he goes, oh, it's THC, like the wax pen things. And I was like, oh, dude, no fucking way. I was like, no, you did not just do that to me. He's like, what? And I was like, I didn't know it was that. I thought it was nicotine. He was like, nah, man, it's some wax. I'm like, so then I ended up, 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Going down the rabbit hole now.
I'd have had to go home, dude, because I mean, I can take one once in a while, but that stuff, that next level, I've never tried no waxes and dabs and all that other stuff. That's too.
Whenever you have to bring out a torch to heat the thing until it's cherry red, that's a no-no. That's like that's too much.
You're like this close to smoking like meth or something. Like you don't need that.
Like when you put like you smoke a whatever, like weed back in the day, bowl, whatever you're going to use, you just light it and then you put it down and then don't have to worry about anything being extinguished or anything burning a hole. You don't have to worry about setting the house on fire. It's even like you talking to me while your smoker's going. Somebody's got to be looking over like the window, be like, is that thing on fire? All right, good. We're good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I keep mine out away from the house, and it's a portable one, so even if it did catch fire, it won't hurt anything.
It's
It's
got
fine.
wheels on
It'll
it.
burn. What's it? No, no, just carry. It's a little. It's only like 20 inches tall, yay wide, but it's got enough room for like 20 pounds of meat on it. So
I went over to my buddy's house at like I always go there like because I'm up really early in the middle of the night basically, and I went over to his house like 7 a.m. He's still sleeping, and I went into his house, put in his passcode to his house and everything, walked in, and he goes, "Did you open my smoker?" And I was like, "I did." It smelled really good, and I decided to open up the door, and a whole bunch of smoke came out, so I shut it, and then I went back and I went into his house, and he was like, "I can smell it on you." I was like, "Damn, dude!" I was like, "That's like the worst thing about being by a campfire is the next day when you're smelling like shit because the campfire." I was like, immediately after opening up that smoker, I immediately smelled like smoked meat. I was like, "Damn."
yeah, I have, like I said, I'm using a little cheater smoker today, the little electric pellet smoker, but I mean, I have all the different smokers. I got an offset smoker, vertical smoker. I got all different stuff. But this one, I got to run to the store, get some stuff ready for vacation and all this stuff. So I can just pull it away from the house and let it run on low for hours, whatever I need to do. So I'm gonna let it run and do its thing. I'm not concerned.
That's fair. It's like I used to set when I first started using the oven, like in the middle of the show, basically. I would just set it to 450 and then go cook some chicken for 2 hours while I did a podcast.
450 for 2 hours. You gonna have some dried up chicken,
I know. I
bro.
like it like that though. That's why I
What?
said I'm easy to please. I'm easy to please.
Oh man.
When someone goes,
Nah,
"Do
you
you want
gotta.
mayo? Do you want this? And you want this? Do you want this?" I'm like, God, just give me the ham sandwich, man. I don't need all the extra stuff. Just the bread and the ham.
See, I'm a condiment guy. I like all that stuff on a sandwich, on a sub or whatever. Like I order a cold cut or something. They're like, "What do you want on?" I'm like, "Everything." Just put everything on it.
Yeah.
That's what got me into the hot sauce stuff too,
Oh,
because I started out like I loved condiments and different honey mustards and spicy mustards and you name it, I loved it all. And then came across hot sauce and kind of figured out that you can put it on basically anything depending on which sauce you're putting on what. And I kind of went down that rabbit hole for years, and that's what kind of got me into it because hot sauce is just a condiment. So after a while, you start to look for more and more and more and different things and better things. So it kind of just snowballed
and
into
that's how the drug of hot sauce started and the addiction began.
it is, but it's more about the community
Yeah.
and the friends. You know, they're in San Diego right now. They're well, the event. I think the event just ended yesterday. But there was a big League of Fire show in San Diego, and everyone from around the country and some people from around the world were there, and everyone's eating all these hot peppers and doing all these live streams and big shows, and it's cool, man. It's these people are really cool people.
Do you say that
99% of them.
joining the community was probably better than if you just passed up on the opportunity? I mean, you could have passed up on the opportunity to do my show. You didn't know who I was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great to join the community. Is one of the best things I've ever done. And speaking of your show, like first time you reached out to me, I know I've talked about it before, but I thought it was like a joke or something. Like because you just reach out. I don't know. I followed you, you followed me, whatever, on Instagram or something, and then like I got a message one day. You were like, "Hey, I got a podcast. I was wondering if you want to be on or something." And I was just like, "What? Like
Hmm.
a podcast? Like why would anybody want me to be on a podcast? Like
Why
this
not?
has to be a joke. He's got to be a scammer or something, because you always get these things. Hey, I came across your
Put your
page and I
credit
wanted.
card in.
Yeah, I was like, he's got to be joking. Like, who is this guy? Is it even a guy? Is it who? Where are they even at? Like, it's got to be phony. And yeah, I messaged you back or whatever, and I guess we talked a little bit, and I was like, no, he really wants me to be on his podcast. Like, I guess I'll do it. Like, I was nervous as hell. Like this time, I'm not nervous. I think the first two times, I was nervous as hell, like all kind of jittery, and it's weird. It's a different
I
experience.
think you did better the first two times. You haven't taught me shit this episode. This is a learning show. Now I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know. Yeah, this is just us talking because we haven't talked in a couple of years. I think this isn't anything crazy. We talked about drug addiction and homelessness and everything. Like last time, we got into aliens. We got into all kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you don't listen to podcasts anymore, so it's hard for you to know what the hell's going on or what everyone's talking about. I just watched Joe Rogan light up somebody on Twitter and it's become a big thing. And I'm like, honestly, I've given up social media. I just can't do it anymore. It's too much.
I did back out of most of it. I don't do much of it no more.
Facebook.
Uh, yeah, I'm on Facebook, but it's mostly like I don't post on Facebook, but I scroll through and I see other people's posts, and then I go in Cap Crew and I talk to them guys and do stuff with them. But other than that, I really don't interact with uh, Instagram, any of that stuff anymore. Because I wanted to go legal with a hot sauce, so I was like accepting everyone's friend requests and doing all that kind of stuff in the beginning because I was like, well, you got to kind of like create some kind of social media thing so people can even find out about your hot sauce. So I was making hot sauces, I was doing all that. And I wanted to go legal. I wanted it to be life, which would still be great, but it's harder to do than I kind of expected. And to give up your job and your career or just to to start your own thing it's tougher than people say it is. You
Yeah.
know, it's hard to walk away. My dad owned his own company, and I see the risks involved, and I had to see the dark side of it and the hard side of it all. So I'm kind of hesitant to quit my job and start new with my own thing.
Are you
And
gonna think about starting up the hot sauce again though? They were good
I still
flavors.
make
I
some
still got
hot
them
sauce.
on the shelf up there.
I still make some hot sauce, but
Send me a bottle, bro.
I don't push it a whole lot like I used to. All right, right now I only have one. I have some ideas and some stuff in the works. I have plenty of peppers I grew and all, but
I got Harmon Heat, the tropical one up there. I got the football one. I can't read it on because it says there's something blocking it. And then
it's a 2 minute warning. The football one's a 2 minute warning.
I got one more up there. Oh yeah, there it is. It's the creepy cherry.
Oh no, cranberry creeper.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I got
cranberry
one more
creeper.
up there. No, I think it's just three. Yeah, three.
You probably have a mango habanero, right?
The one with the palm tree on it.
That's Paradise Burning.
I got those two, and then I got the football one.
Yeah, it's a 2 minute warning. You've never had the mango habanero? I think at one point I did send you a mango habanero, right?
It's not up there. It would be up there if you did.
What?
You sent me a hot monkey. I know that.
A hot monkey?
Yeah, the from the sauce show. The something's burning, not something's burning. Whatever the wings ones.
Oh, First We Feast, hot
Yeah,
ones. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't
that's
know.
all I got. But when you start making hot sauce, send me a bottle. How about that?
All right, yeah, I got some ideas. I got some stuff coming up, but I'll send you some good stuff. I mean, hopefully it'll get you back into the game a little bit. You
Maybe.
know, you don't have
Justin,
to go.
it's been
I
a
say,
pleasure chatting with you again. Now we're cutting it on that. I'm not getting back into the hot sauce game. You're nuts, dude. The
I mean,
community's
just a little
nice.
bit. Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, you don't have to go deep into it, but just get back to enjoying it a little bit.
Okay. I might do it for you.
Do it for me, Robbie.
Okay. All right. Justin, where's your links, man? Do you have any links you'd like to promote, or you just want to give a good message to the people?
No links. Do your own thing. I don't really have anything to sell to anybody like that. I'm not here to, do anything all about me. It's all about all of us. It's all about everyone. Let's try to get along. Try to be a decent person. You ain't got to be the greatest. Be decent.
Be decent. I like it. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank. Stay tuned for our next episode.